For our second part to this assignment, we're also going to be mixing drums, but we're going to be doing so with a different style and a different recording session. These are also stem files that I'm downloading with this template, and these have been preloaded into a GarageBand template for us. So once you download it from the Dropbox, you go here to Unpack It, and it shows up in your Downloads folder. You can double click this and it'll open up in GarageBand. And again, we have our template here. And as before, we're going to start with our kick and kick drum, and we're going to bring those into the mix dead center. Also notice that there is some time at the beginning of it that is empty space, so we're going to try to cut that out and use our loop function to isolate some things. So use our selector, select the audio we want. So this is in the style of a brass band, a New Orleans brass band with second line. So there's lots of different layers here. So you can tell this out snare, this out kick drum mic is rather weak, right? Not picking up a whole lot. It's just going to give us a little bit of tap on the front end of that kick drum sound. So the majority of our kick drum is going to be from this mic here. This is actually a floor tom. I'm going to put this down here. And then again, we get two mics on our snare drum. The bottom where the snares are and the top where the heads are, or where the stick hits the head. And we're going to put this slightly to the right because that's how they face the audience. Okay, and then our toms are not very, so we're going to put our toms, floor tom over here and our rack tom over here. And I'll wait for this event so that I can hear my toms. A little hot yet, so I'm going to bring those down a little bit. Again, we want these things to lay in the mix. We don't want them to be overwhelming. So our overhead mics, there are two overhead mics, so they're just summarized into one track. So I'm going to keep them pan center. And we're going to get some bleed from the horn section, and that helps us get a kind of a sense of the song anyway. But that overhead mic will give us the cymbals we need. Okay, so if we got a pretty decent drum set mix, we're going to add percussion. Now this gets pretty interesting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, and I'm going to position these left, center, and right, and add them in one by one. Notice that these high-pitched percussion instruments do not need a lot of reinforcement. Because if we do have them way up at 0, they're really loud. We need them down in the mix. Okay, so again, with these high-pitched percussion instruments, we don't need them to be loud. We need them to be in the mix. So we're going to try to mix accordingly and just add them into the drums. Finally, now we can start taking out our solos. and hear the whole thing together, which we were doing, but we're just going to take the solo part out of it and adjust accordingly. Now we're going to go into our master track as we did before, hit the B key to open up our smart controls where we add effects, and we can add a little bit of compression, and we can add some reverb. Go to Platinum Verb and let's do a live club. So this gives us a better picture of the sound. We can also go to our EQ at the master level, open up the analyzer. If you want more of a live club feel with a lot of bass, that helps. Maybe a little bit of high end. But just a little bit, as I said in the last video, if you add a lot, it adds a lot of garbage. Like that just sounds terrible. So we need to keep these adjustments to be nuanced. And again, you can adjust the amount of reverb. That's too much. So right about it, maybe at 35% or so. Okay. So when you've got something that you like and you've got your metronome off and you're ready to export this as an audio file, you go to Share, Export Song to Disk. Change your file name. And name it as such, MP3. Take out all the crazy characters and export it to your folder. And always monitor your output audio so that you know what you've made. And if that sounds fine and you don't need to make any other adjustments, then you can upload this to the Dropbox as well. Have fun.